But we haven't tried also with candles of below 1 hour. Because of convenience, we were trying from 1 hour above, and it looks like there is no enough data for a model. Even if you have 3 years or 4 years of candle of 1 hour, it's not really a lot of candle. Maybe it's 20,000 candles, something like this, not that much. And usually this machine learning model works better when you have much more data. Okay? Probably an upgrade to this system would be to be able to use candles or information of less than 1 hour, maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, because in the same 3-4 years of historical data, you might have hundreds of thousands of candles, and maybe there it works better. But what I see with my own eyes when I was doing this is that the error, the percentage of error of this machine learning model was smaller in 1 hour, and it was growing in 2 hours, 4 hours, 12 hours. And my guess is because there are very little about information of 12 hours and 24 hours. So my guess is that if we run this exactly the same thing in 1 minute, probably it's much better, the percentage error. Yes.
Are you trying to predict whole candle or just close price? For your case,
what we are predicting is the open, not the open, because the open you know it. At the moment you make the prediction, you do the prediction just after the last candle is closed. So the open of the next candle you already know.
Yeah.
So we are predicting the close, the max, and the min, and the minimum.
So whole candle you are trying.
Yes. We are predicting.
It's also hard to predict whole candle because to predict those values, you need to know the probability distribution of the ticker or anything. And in the stock market, it's completely random. So, I mean, most of the research are focused on just predicting if the next candle is green or red, that kind of stuff. Most people doesn't focus on
even knowing that is a big advantage.
That's an awesome.
But that's why I was repeating the same thing. I'm not sure if it is possible, but the interesting thing is that you have a whole infrastructure that you can reuse. Maybe in a day you can write a script to predict if it's going to be green or red, and probably the error percentage is already very low and usable, maybe. And we don't have to wait for kind of 1 minute, maybe 1 hour is okay. But it's up to you, go and do it. I did already my part, so I'm not expecting to go.
But so the entire infrastructure is then open to what you want to predict. It's just that the infrastructure is open to what you want to predict. It's not about prices.
Yes, that's the idea. That's the idea. So we're spending probably 1 day, if you are in the machine learning stuff, you create your own Python script, or you modify the existing one, and you will be predicting something. So and you can do it yourself with your own machines. You put 100 machines to work and you predict it yourself, or you can use the crowd of the community people that are happy to follow you and participate and help you if they think it's a good idea.
Yeah, predicting bars is a sequence of prices, so you actually want to predict the sequence of prices already, which is way harder, and the further you go into the future, exponentially it becomes more error prone, so it's very hard to do, or essentially it's impossible.
Yes, but the idea was to create the infrastructure, not to succeed in predicting the next candle. And in creating the infrastructure in a way that is reusable enough so that when you come, you don't have to do all this shit. That's it.
In other words, the infrastructure is about administering the crowdsourcing of the test cases.
Yes, which include the incentivization of the crowd via the Superalgos'u topic. So you have an incentivized crowd. They don't not only have to believe you. Maybe they don't really believe you a lot because you're new or who knows, but they want to get the token, so they do it anyway.
You also have a mathematical problem here because you are predicting 3 numbers, right? But you are calculating 1 error. Am I right?
Yes.
So it's important how you combine those errors, also another mathematical problem. So So if you had predict only just one number, it would be more consistent, you know.
Yes, I don't remember exactly which is the way it's done. I think it's the standard way, but I'm not sure. Probably it's wrong.
Maybe you predict the lowest price wrong, but the minimum and maximum right. And you say, oh, I have a good prediction. In fact, it's a bad prediction.
Yeah, that's something that anybody in math can go and check it out. And maybe they found out that the formula is not the best way to calculate the error or whatever. I did it in the standard way, but again, to create the infrastructure reusable enough so that people can take it from there. But not expecting to find the next candle anytime soon. More questions regarding this? Okay. Well, maybe I can continue to something else, or I give you 1 minute to think.
And also this infrastructure costs a lot of money, right?
Which?
This infrastructure, right? You have servers. Right? Who is sponsoring the servers?
That's the thing. Each individual person runs their own machines. So there is, if you want to predict something, if you want to participate, you go to the Telegram group. I'm going to be more specific. If you want to participate in this or learn more about this, you go to a Telegram group where the people doing this is hanging out. So you learn how to install Superalgos and specifically this part of the product. Okay? Then you set up in your machine a test client. Okay? There is a README with instruction and you install it. Then you're going to be connecting to whoever is running the test server that week, and your machine is going to be training the model. So there's no sponsor, it's you that you voluntarily went and did all this to participate in it.
So the end result is not stored in a central server, just the client's machines, right? Client's
Whatever
server.
models you test is in your machine.
So everything is distributed.
Yes, it's distributed between the machines of all the people. So if you find a good model or a model that is better than the current model, then the test server will know, because the test server is keeping track of all the models and of what everybody's doing. So if you find the best model today, then that is going to be considered the best model for that market. Remember that for each market, and the market is probably Bitcoin, dollar. For each time frame, okay, there is one specific model. Okay, so there is one model for 1 hour, one model for 2 hours, one model for 4 hours. So maybe you found the best model for 1 hour Bitcoin dollar. Okay, so the test server is going to tell the forecaster, look, with these parameters, we can have a better model than the previous one. So recalculate the model and start forecasting using the best one. Okay.
So since the results are not stored in a central server, right? Nobody can go and check the previous, work. Other people, am I right? You just have to be subscribed to certain tests.
Yes, you're going to be receiving the forecast every hour, and that is going to be recorded in your computer, and then you're going to use it with your strategies running in your computer, regardless of what the other people are doing. Maybe some people is using it, nobody's using it. You don't know, and it's not your problem.
Maybe you can expand on how the output of the model fits in the workflow of the platform and how people can use the output as conditions in strategies and stuff.
Okay. When you receive this forecast, okay, the information is going to be recorded in the same way that the system records information when it's downloaded information from Binance, for example. No? In the data mining side of the project, the data mining starts with a process that extracts raw data from exchanges, Binance or whatever exchange you want, and it's recorded into a file, okay, of 1 minute candle data. then another process come and expand that in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, up to 24 hours, okay? And once you have the candle of 24 hours, if you are calculating other indicators, they will take this as an input and write information in other files with the indicators you are calculating. Fibonacci, Bollinger Bands, whatever, okay? So this is the normal process. At the end of this processing stuff comes your strategies, okay? Your strategies are going to consume any of the data that has been processed, okay? So you have the exchanges here. This comes the raw data, then indicator data. Indicator is when the raw data is processed into 24 hours sets of candles. Okay? This indicator can be many, many indicator 1, indicator 2, indicator 3. This is the regular process when you're extracting data from exchanges and processing. Okay? When you're participating in this game, this forecaster is going to be broadcasting this forecast, and this information comes from the forecaster, not from the exchange, from the forecaster. And it's going to come also like raw signal data that is recorded into your machine here. And from there, your indicators processes can take this information and start calculating other stuff if you want. If you don't want to calculate anything, it doesn't matter. Your trading strategies, okay, are using this as an input. Trading strategy has conditions and formulas, okay? You can use in conditions, indicators, or whatever you want that comes from this workflow, but also you can use the information that comes from this forecast, okay? Make sense? Are you learning?
Somehow. I'm trying.
Very good. Then you explain to other.
What?
What?
I'm at the same time explaining. I will be a super algo after the conference.
What else?
Maybe Luis, a note on other types of data sources, not from exchanges, other APIs and stuff, just to know that it's covered also.
Okay. Yeah. The machine, the data mining set of tools that we have allows you also to extract information not only from crypto exchanges, that this is coming, crypto exchanges is using this library that you mentioned before, CCXT, okay? That standardizes somehow the access to the exchanges API, okay? We also built a year or two before one thing that we call API maps. API maps. What is an API map? An API map is, remember what Carl was showing here, all these nodes and stuff? Well, you can design a data structure that maps an API of practically any data source out there in the internet, okay? You know that a company, when they create, usually they have a website. Let's take an example to make it a little bit more concrete. Let's say Twitter, okay? Twitter have an access to their system via HTTP, okay? That is what you use when you log into Twitter using the browser, okay? Your browser speaks HTTP with Twitter servers, and they provide you information about your timeline, the people you're following, blah, 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 okay? Then Twitter has also APIs, or an API is an access gate, but not for humans, but for programs, okay? But if you want to access Twitter not as a human, but as a robot or as a program, you don't access via HTTP and receive all this information that can be shown, displayed on the browser, but you use an API, okay? So that means it's another gate for asking Twitter for information. You can ask the list of tweets, you can create a new comment, and you can tweet or retweet. In the same way, any company has these two ways of providing information. It provides information for humans via HTTP, and it provides information for other systems or programs or bots. Okay? So that's an API. So an API, usually there is a definition. Twitter publishes the definition of their API, meaning which is the way you call from a program whatever they have to give you. Okay? If you want to retrieve tweets, then you have to provide this information. If you want to retrieve the profile of somebody, you have to do it in this way. Okay? So essentially, Twitter gives you a definition of how to access their data. So what we did is, inside Superalgos, we allow people to create to map those definitions into the system, so that anybody can say, okay, let's connect to Twitter. So I'm going to go to Twitter documentation and see which are the commands I can execute and which are the parameters that I can provide, and I'm going to create it as a structure here on the part of the system of Superalgos that deals with API maps. Okay, I'm going to create a map. Once you create a map, then you can connect an indicator bot that usually takes information that is already on your machine. And if you provide the indicator bot an API map, then the indicator bot can automatically go to Twitter and start fetching information from Twitter. Okay? And once you have it inside Superalgos, you can continue processing that information further and create indicators as you like, custom indicators with that information. And the same is true for any other company. You can fetch information from Twitter or from, you name it. That's how we open the door for people to fetch information from many data sources. Which API maps have been contributed so far? Do you know?
They're working on connecting data providers in crypto, like Glassnode and